Now, DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, this is a service the network can provide with the help of this protocol, assigning IP address dynamically to the devices. The devices can be anything. The devices can be router, computer, a printer, a virtual machine, server. DHCP is just a common service which can be used, the service that can be used to provide IP address to any device in the network. Any device that needs IP address can be assigned an IP address dynamically by this protocol. Now, what is the use of using this protocol? We can also assign IP address manually. Do you know the IP address of your laptop or computer, whatever you're using? You know? Oh, great. I don't know. Because my IP address is not assigned by me. I did not assign it statically. See, I don't need to care about what IP address I have in my laptop if I have this protocol support, DHCP. It reduces our human workload. It reduces our workload. See, in my compound, within my compound, I have at least 10 devices that needs IP address. And all these 10 devices got IP address dynamically given, assigned by this DHCP. I never took pain to provide an IP address to any of my devices. They're all dynamically assigned. See how nice this, how important and how good this protocol is. If you don't have washing machine, how much time it will be wasted for a family every day. The washing machine, you just turn on, you put the soap and the cloth, you on it, which is already connected to the water system. It keeps washing for 1 hour or 50 minutes or 45 minutes, and you do some other work. It's very good using washing machine. Likewise, you don't need to care about what IP address is given. Is there any duplicate IP address? See, when human do manually configuring IP address, we may sometime make mistake. I may forgetfully give the same IP address to two devices, and this two device will be conflicting in my network. Both the device will start conflicting. Neither this nor that can go online. See, human being may do mistake, but when we depend on this protocol, the services, mistake is very less compared to human being mistake. Yeah, human being error. Everyone will make mistake when they are tired. So when you're very energetic, you will be very careful in driving. Maybe you're driving your car or bike very carefully. But when you're tired and when you have mental pressure, definitely you will not be comfortable in driving. And if you are forced to drive, you will meet with an accident. That's why these automobiles are now coming with autopilot. So you sit in a car and you set the destination where you want to go, the car drives automatically. And this is now possible. But I used to hear this type of story right from my childhood. So, we want protocol to take care of our driving. So, how much important a protocol to provide ID for the computers? See, a computer or any device in the network needs an ID. So, DHCP is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Dynamically, a host is configured with what? With IP address. With the IP address by this protocol. So we need a DHCP server. And then this DHCP server is connected via a switch to n number of hosts. The hosts can be even a router. It can be a big server. And this DHCP server itself can be a router also. See, Microsoft will also allow you to configure a DHCP server, but that's not our area. We want a Cisco router to be a DHCP server. So we are going to make this router as a DHCP server to assign IP address to another router. So this is client and that is server. These are all clients. All these clients are given IP address automatically. All right. So let's now understand how it works, and then I'll demo this how it works. As soon as we turn on our laptop or a router or any DHCP client, what is a client? The one who needs IP address is a client. As soon as you on that client, it can be your cell phone, it can be your laptop, it can be your another router or a server. As soon as you on the device, there is a layer 2 broadcast. See, they don't have an IP address. They can't do any layer 3 communication. So the clients will do a layer 2 broadcast asking for who is the DHCP server in the network. So all the clients will send a layer 2 broadcast. The broadcast sent by this guy will be going to everyone in the network, including the DHCP server. So everyone is receiving, but the DHCP server is what going to respond. DHCP server is going to respond. Now this first, layer 2 broadcast packet that goes from the client, we call it as discover packet. Because it is trying to discover the DHCP server. Now, the DHCP server now responds. No others can respond. See, the request has gone to this client. Can client respond to that? No. It is not a server, so it cannot respond. only a DHCP server will respond. See, the DHCP server is already having IP address, let's say 10.0.0.1. You have manually assigned that it has got already IP address. But still, the others are not having IP address, so it cannot do any layer 3 communication. So DHCP server again sends a layer 2 broadcast saying, I am a DHCP server, what should I do for you? We call it as offer packet. It's offering. It is offering. It provides an offer. It provides an offer. How may I help you? I'm a DHCP server. See, it's not offering an IP address. It is just revealing itself as a DHCP server and says, I'm ready to help you if you ask. So, in this offer, the client comes to know the location, the IP address, and the MAC address of the DHCP server. So, using those IDs of DHCP server, again the client is doing only layer 2 broadcast. Because still it don't have any IP address to do unicast. It has layer 2 broadcast asking for an IP address. We call it as a request packet. It is requesting for an IP address. At last, alright, so this is from the server and this is from the client. And now at last the server provides the IP address again as a layer 2 broadcast. We call it as acknowledgement. Acknowledgement packet. These are the 4 packets that are sent in between to get IP address. Now let's go and see the configuration part of this. Now if you see there's a computer, there's a router. This is going to be a DHCP server for us. And I'm using a switch to connect to various devices. As I told you, the device can be another router. The device can be another computer. The device can be another server. So these 3 devices are going to get IP address now dynamically provided by this server. So for your reference, I'm writing the name as server. These are all clients. I'm going to use the same name. C2, C3. Right. And I'm going to connect the wire in between. Now, first of all, let us make all this as a client. How do you make it as a client? Listen carefully. I'm going to make this as a client. You need to go to this interface. Okay. I'm going to the interface, and you know how to go to the interface. Enable configure interface F0/0. Bring it up and say IP address DHCP. You see, DHCP. What does this mean? I'm not going to give you IP address. You take it from DHCP server. Yeah. Now let's verify. Show IP interface brief. You see, I have said IP address, you need to take it from DHCP. That's the method. But so far, no IP address has come. You know why? Because there is no server available yet. Okay, next. Let's make this computer as a client. Go to desktop, say, get it from DHCP. Next, go to the server and say, no. Now there is no DHCP available, no? So these computers will be keep on trying. See, these computers will be keep on trying, and it will generate an APIPA address. You see, APIPA. See, DHCP failed. Whenever DHCP failed, this 169.254 range of address will be generated to inform the computer that the DHCP server is not providing IP. It is okay. It is just an information to say APIPA. It is to say the DHCP failed. Let's configure DHCP, then the IP address will come. I'm connecting a wire here. And now, let me first give an IP address here manually. I'll give 10.0.0.1/24. All right, I'm going to give this IP address on this interface. All right, give any host name. I'm going to give a server, something like that. And then interface F0/0. IP address is 10.0.0. And then we need to configure DHCP server. How to configure how to configure a router to be a DHCP server. This is the command. IP DHCP pool. Before that, IP DHCP exclude address. What is that exclude address? See, you remember we have already assigned one IP address manually. We should not give that IP address. So we should say exclude this address. Don't give this address to anyone because I have already assigned it to my router. You see, I already assigned it to my router. So exclude this address and then IP DHCP pool, DHCP, some name. It can be any name. Okay, it can be any name, give. That's the name. I hit enter. All right, that's the pool name. Then I'm going to give IP address from this network 10.0.0.0 mask or net mask. Okay, network mask directly 255 or 255 or 255. So that's all. This is the main configuration. See how easy it is. This is the main configuration. And if you want this router to be a gateway for those computers, the default gateway, then you need to say default router, so that all the clients will get 10.0.0.1 as the gateway address. And if you want to optionally configure DNS, you can configure. DNS IP address is, let's say, 4.4.4. What is the address? What is DNS? Domain name server. What it does? It resolves the domain name into IP address. If you type yahoo.com, DNS only provides the IP address of the yahoo.com server. Those are all Microsoft, but because you have requested me for DNS, I'm going to teach you after this today. Now, that's all, we have finished configuring DHCP server. Let me show you once again, show run. See, this is what we have configured. You see, only this much is what we configured. Do you have any question? We are going to verify now. Are you comfortable with the configuration? Okay. Now let us verify. Here I want to see whether any IP address is given by this router, by the server. Show IP DHCP binding command. Look at this. It says I have given 3 people. These are the MAC address of the 3 device. I have given to these 3 device these IP address. How many devices we have? Yeah, we have 3 device. For this 3 device, it has given this IP address. We can see that the IP address is already assigned. Let's go and check the router. Router. Wow, it already says I got this address from DHCP. You understand? Earlier we were not seeing any IP address, but now if you see, you can see an IP address already given by DHCP server. And now if you go to these computers, see there's an IP address given, and you see the gateway given, and you see the DNS address is given. All these are dynamically assigned. Let me try again here. You see automatically it does come. So DNS server address is the address of the DNS server. So that whenever someone types www.yahoo, the request will go to this address. Listen, I'm teaching DNS. See, DNS server is a common server. It will be somewhere in the internet. All that you need to do is put the IP address of the DNS server in your computer. So that when you type facebook.com, you don't know the IP address of the Facebook computer in the internet. In the internet, Facebook is a computer, big server. So who provides the IP address for your computer to reach Facebook? DNS server. Right? So when you look for a web page, the request will go to the DNS server, and DNS server will provide the IP address to reach Facebook. Using the IP address, HTTP request will go and HTTP response will come. That's about DHCP and DNS. Any question on DHCP and DNS? You can ask. All what? All our clients only here. Whoever receives IP address is a client. We have all 3 as a client. I don't understand your question. This is the only router which is a server where we configure DHCP. Here we simply made these 3 devices to receive IP address from the DHCP. So you call it as client. You need to watch this video.